Alright, welcome back to a new video. So this is my Friday training session. I would like to get up to 110 and 140 for a really quick session. It is 7:23 right now. And the reason there's so many footprints, obviously it's raining, but I did a couple deadlifts for a school video. So I took 200 kilos of plates and the bar to school, and these are from all the trips back in. So I'm going to try to do the session as quick as possible. If something starts to feel off, I'm just going to cut it off. But I'm also dog sitting, so another reason that I would like this session to go quick is so I can get back to the house, because it's pouring right now still, and I was kind of in between feeding them at this time or when I get back, and be a little bit easier. Hopefully the rain stops. I didn't look at the radar or anything, but I want the rain to stop so I can feed them, let them out so they'll actually go poop. The big guy, he'll go out, he doesn't care. But the beagle, he's a little bit scared of the weather. So we're going to be expeditious with this training session, and I'm not really worried about. So even with these footprints on, it's not slippery on the wood because it's particle board. I guess the rubber would be slippery, but I'm not really stepping on that. So I'm not apprehensive about lifting or anything. But I haven't warmed up or anything other than bringing in all the red plates and all the blue plates and the bar. So that's going to be my dynamic warm-up for this session. We got this big string that are here. So these are really cheap pants that I found on Amazon. They're really nice because they're stretchy, and I got a couple of different sizes. So the larges, they both fit, but the larges, these might be largest, so they're a little bit tighter. And I got XLs that fit a little bit baggier, but the waists are super wide on both of them. I've been dealing with quad tendonitis a little bit, so that could be one of the things that cuts my session out a little bit, but I didn't really have to do much. I mean, I guess a couple of deadlifts. Most people would consider I had to do 3 singles in the video at 200 kilos, but I can usually handle pulls pretty well, so I'm not too worried about that impact. More so the quad tendon, that area up there. So I would like to go heavy tomorrow as well, so I'm not too worried about this session. But we'll sit down here for a bit and try to stand up. I'll try to do an overhead squat. So not too bad. I'm also trying with knee wraps. I don't care if I use them all the time, but when I'm using straps, not to use wrist straps as well. It's honestly more comfortable because the straps are already pretty short, and it will challenge my wrist strength a little bit. So it's something that I've done before in the past. Obviously, I do them. I will wear them with the straps a lot, so it's not like a foreign thing. But obviously, the less equipment in theory, the better. Now, if I'm already using straps, it's already giving a good amount of wrist support, but if the wrists start to get achy, then I'm not going to hesitate to put them on. But we got the wraps on, so we'll do a couple reps of the bar. Originally I put smart jumps of 40, 50 all the way up, but we are just going to do 50, 70, 90, 100, and 110. And with clean jerks we'll do 70, 120, 140. And some of that you could attribute to laziness, but we just want to keep the session moving and grooving. So, and really in a session like this, a Friday session before a heavy session, I'm not trying to emotionally invest in the session and go crazy. I just want to hit numbers. If I get up to 70 kilos and I'm really achy and it doesn't feel right, then I should be mature enough to stop. I probably won't, but I'm not gonna, try to miss 110 15 times to get it, or have the desire to go up to 120 on a day like this. But today was the last day of school. It was a teacher work day, so no students. Yesterday was the last student day. So we're all done for the summer. So, knees a little achy, shoulders a little achy, but kind of towards the end of the last block, because I knew I was going to be going heavy. Yeah, I was using more ibuprofen, so now we're not using that. So, in general, it's going to be more sore, which is fine. But I'm not dog sitting for too long, just today, tomorrow, and half a Sunday. So not like, and it's only like 15 minutes from my house, so it's not like it's going to be too far, out of the way. Obviously, I can still train here and still be able to be responsible for them. Clean my glasses off; they're all wet from the rain. I haven't done a 50, 70, like those big jumps in a while, so we'll see how they feel. I'm going to reset the video here. There's like a 20-minute recording limit, and there is a way around it with the camera, but it was started bugging out before, so we're doing a factory reset. And I don't typically record anything longer than one 20-minute straight video, and due to the nature of Olympic weightlifting, I can just set it down, set the weight down and go and reset the video. So those will probably be the only cuts in this one. So we got 50 here. My second training session of the day. And when I did the pulls this morning, I didn't do any warm-ups or anything. I just did 200 kilos. So, didn't do a bunch of extra reps. So, just the normal amount of pain. I always like those memes. You have like a doctor asking how much pain someone's in. They're like, just a normal amount. The doctor's, you should have no pain. Which, maybe that's true, but I think most athletes deal with pain on a regular basis. And I know I have been dealing with some sort of pain as long as I can remember, way before lifting weights. I had Augenslager, I think is what it's called. And it's a growth plate below your patella tendon, that shin bone. There's a growth plate there, and you can get irritation there when you're in puberty. And I had that all the way in 5th grade, I remember. So, I mean, the idea of being pain-free, I actually don't remember a time. And obviously, as you get older, the difference of movements that you're doing matter. Like I can, if I was 13 or 14, I could just jump and sprint and do everything without a worry in the world, and no really like major pain with that. But it's not as if I didn't have. It's not as if I have the same amount of pain or have pain today and then zero pain at that point. Obviously, it's less because you recover better and can handle more stressors physically then. But we're gonna do 70 now. Just trying to mimic the pulls that I was doing earlier this week, trying to keep the bar close along my shins and just extending correctly and fully. honestly doesn't feel too bad. Time check. Keep getting random video game emails to the email connected to my YouTube channel. I mean, it makes sense because I stream a video game sometimes, but it's always these weird games that I don't have any interest in playing. And they're not offering to pay me. I don't care enough about trying a new video game to shill one without getting money for it. Alright, so 90 now. If this feels good, we'll go at 100. If it feels off, we'll just cut it here at 90. Which honestly might be the smarter decision, so we'll see how it feels. Felt pretty good. Reset the video here. So we're going to redo the knee wrap here on just the right knee. And so that's where you make the decisions whether to go up or not, and felt good enough to go up, so that's what we're going to do. Also eating a lot of food today. Went out for Mexican for lunch, so plenty of extra calories. Not that I need a ton for a session like this. So we want to make sure we really catch this one well. This could be the last one, and feels like the last one will probably go up and try 110. Also have the squat racks in front of me, turned and rotated. That's because it's raining, so I don't feel like having the shed doors, trying to get them off to the side. If I can lift like this, it's not really a problem. Just the other way, I can get the pads a little bit further away. Doesn't make too much of a difference though. So this will be 100 now. We'll redo the other wrap too. It's getting a little bit loosey-goosey. And then if I get the clean and jerks fine, then I like to just do the three jumps, 70, 120, and 140. And then be out. It's kind of the ideal Friday session. What I'm trying to build to and make consistent is just get to 110, 140 and not have to be super hyped up, not have to struggle, miss it a bunch of time, anything like that. Just make it a routine session. Make 110 the new 100, so on and so forth. Alright, so 100 here, we got to be focused in. Make sure we're extending, doing all that good stuff. just have to be mentally tough and just do it. Not extend early or any goofy stuff like that. Big commitment, good extension, and a good hold. So slightly out in front, but I didn't have to run to save it or anything. So we focus in, we lock in, we should be able to do 110. I'm trying to be a little cautious with the knee because it gets irritated after a lift, but which means I'm wrapping these a little bit tighter than I normally do, at least on the right side. And so just trying to not rush it. But if we finish well on this next one, should be able to catch it fine. Just have to have good commitment, good belief, and strong arms. That one certainly felt good enough. So as long as I commit, push with my legs, extend, then we do it, we move on to clean jerks. I'm also not using music today, which I've been doing a little bit more, especially on a live stream, but I think it's good to do sometimes. Especially if you're trying to lower the emotions of a session. This is a big lift though. We need a big finish, big extension. Make sure I'm locking out with that left arm and that full rotation, all that good stuff. We just have good commitment, we'll be able to do it. Alright, not the best rep, but forward on the left side. We did it the first time. We'll start and stop the video here. So we definitely can clean that up to make it better, but we took big jumps. We got to the weight that I wanted. I didn't have to do anything insane to save it, just had to rebalance my arms a little bit. So it gives me something to, in a perfect world, work towards improving in the next week when I do this Friday session. Which this block is a 13-week block, which will end on August 15th, with me potentially doing a competition, maybe not. Honestly, it kind of just depends if I sign up in time and if I am getting in good shape. Some of the, we'll do the reps and yap for a bit, but with the last block of training, I think it went pretty well. I used ChatGPT to really develop a lot of the stuff. I didn't really do any back squats, so that's one change that I'll have during this 13 weeks. While I'll have them in consistently. I don't think that was any reason, I didn't hit a PR or anything like that. It was only an 8-week block, and I was able to get up to 126. And even in that session, the 125 is really close, and to even have the thought of doing 130 is good progress. It didn't have any heavy cleans, which makes sense in some sense, but I need to have some of those just to kind of have that neurological tolerance of that weight and the, not really a technical difference, but a 150 clean feels different than 160, not even just from the sheer weight, but the physics of the bar a little bit, and confidence as well. Jerks didn't really improve during the block, and I think I hit 155 during the 8 weeks at least once, and then I did 153 well. So it's not like they got worse, but need to be dedicated to them, and I'm trying to, but adding things like push presses will be good, which I'm trying to find a day where that works well with them. I'm just trying to be consistent with doing those as well, because I feel like those help me a lot. Same with pressing in general, like that Wednesday session where I did push press plus power jerk, or push jerk kind of. Well, I actually power jerk because I moved my feet, but trying to be doing those on a regular basis, and trying to build a consistency in the snatch. Like if I can make those jumps every Friday up to 110, then they become easier and easier and more consistent and more routine. You get better practice with them, and obviously continue to try to make the top end weights better and better, but didn't have any misses. That was one issue I was having in the last block, just to make consistency. A lot of it is not even the program's fault. I was just pushing really hard and trying to lift beyond what was recommended. But sometimes that's fun to do. Most of the time it's fun to do, to be honest. And a lot of the issues I have with misses is almost never to do with strength. It's almost always to do with my mental commitment to the weight, that full extension. As I can pull, if you saw the video of me clarking the 130s, I'm doing a high pull with them, so the pull is never the problem. Obviously you can get out of position, but the strength of the pull is never the problem. It's my commitment to fully extend and then be fast under the bar. And when you have knee pain and stuff like that, it's hard to be 100% committed on those heavy weights, but I want to be able to build to the point where I'm getting up to doing 115, 120s in normal sessions and have them be the 110s that I'm working up to. Obviously not on a day like today, but in other sessions, and build up to those. And the clean jerks, it's really just building the cleans separately from the jerks, getting the jerks to feel really strong, and shoulders and all of that. Which honestly, it's just me having to be exposed. It's me just doing the heavy jerks and doing them consistently. Which, during that block I had times where I got the blocks out and did them, but I think doing them from the rack, for me, that's kind of the last bit of recovery that I needed from the thumb injury I had earlier this year, is re-racking weights. That was, even when everything, right now I don't have any issues with it, but that confidence of that re-rack and just my hand being a little bit tighter at different times there. And now I'm not, my jerk grip and stuff isn't modified at all. It's all back to normal, and I don't think about it when I'm doing the lift. So, that's kind of the final step of recovery. You're not really thinking about the injury when you're in the midst of a light or a heavy lift. But that re-racking the jerk, I think it definitely takes time to build that back, because that is a capacity. And yesterday, in snatch balances, also trying to add those in, but that's just, a positional movement. But with the jerks, re-racking on the 120 is good, because I haven't done that in a little bit. And doing it also with the push press complex is good. So just getting exposure to that, doing them out of the rack. One, it's just more convenient, but I think there's probably more carryover, because you have that, you don't have the blocks to be the crutch to it. That's, I hate setting them up. Like, all the blocks, they're so, in a normal gym setting, if you have a lot of space, like, they're not hard to move around, but here it's so cramped that it's just, you can only set them up and just use them, and then you're back to just, you have to take them all off. If I were, for instance, on the snatch balance day, if I wanted to do them after snatch balances, set up all the blocks, do the jerks, take them all back, and then do front squats, like, it just makes the session last so much longer versus just doing them from the rack and potentially, having better carryover from the rack anyway. One thing I dealt with at the end of the last block is I had a big blister open on my thumb, but thankfully I didn't impact anything. I just had to use thumb tape, but I just got used to it. I sweat through it so much, I just have to go through a lot more than I want. Cleans, it doesn't really slip off as bad. It's always snatches that it slips off the worst, which is, it's always annoying for snatches, but getting, I guess, better at using thumb tape, or at least it's, I don't know. I just need to put some, what do the people use to make their faces not have wrinkles? I need that stuff for my thumbs so they don't sweat. It'd probably make them numb, so they probably wouldn't work, but, alright, so, clean jerks here, we'll do 70, 120, and, if it feels really bad, we'll stop at 120, as far as mostly the quad tendon. If it flares up with that, probably should be fine, because, like, it doesn't feel bad now, but we'll be safe with that. So we're going to go ahead and do a tactical reset. So this part of the session should be pretty quick. It's only 3 more lifts. Snatches, it wasn't even that much because I took bigger jumps. I think it's good for, like, tomorrow to go 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 105, 110 before I build up just to do more reps. But the goal of today's session is less about accumulating volume of even minimal singles. It's just to get up to that in a, as relaxed as you can. Obviously, you're not being passive. You have to be aggressive still, but I'm yapping right before I do a lift, and I don't have music playing and all of that. So I'm also, outside of that, I'm sitting squat for a second. On sessions that aren't super heavy, I'm not taking pre-workout. I just drink coffee. So it's one, I'm not uncaffeinated prior to training, unless it's the Wednesday session where I did power snatches and power cleans and stuff like that. I didn't take caffeine for that, and that will probably be a continual trend. But yeah, just coffee, and then like tomorrow I'll take pre-workout. So not necessarily limiting caffeine, but almost probably saving money, just having coffee. But I like coffee anyway, so it's not too big of a deal, especially when I'm at the house. I can just brew it up. But we'll see how 70 feels. Me actually feels like I felt nothing. It's kind of weird, but I'm not going to question it. Maybe the heavier wraps are helping. I didn't even like crank them crazy tight, but the other ones I have are the lighter hook grip ones. They're both hook grip. These are the squat ones. I really could wear them for both, but I feel like the squat ones are just a little bit too thick for snatches. And I don't really need like the bounce out of the bottom. Doesn't really help on snatches. just because the weight's not maximal on the legs. So we do 70, 120, 140. But yeah, that one, no discomfort. And that was, I mean, as you saw, I didn't do any like warm-ups really other than sitting in the squat. Obviously the snatches. Obviously snatches count as part of the warm-up, but nothing specific for clean and jerks. So we'll lock in for this 120. With jerks, I haven't really changed anything. I'm trying to get, obviously always more consistent with it, but get the bar up, of course, but then take a big exhale. I'm trying to think of how I do it. I guess it's like let my breath out and then take a sharp breath in, and maybe that oscillates the bar a little bit, but what that does prior to that is it makes my breathing consistent. So I'm not trying to count or think about my breathing. I'm just letting my breath relaxed and then locking in and then just going once I feel the bar bounce twice. Yeah, kind of the Ilya thing, so I'm not waiting too long, but it's not a hard and fast rule. Sometimes I go a bit longer, but really that sharp breath is the key to get everything stacked. At least that's my goal. All right, let's see how 120 feels. Crazy, like my knee hurt more on snatches than clean jerks. And that jerk felt good too. So you kind of hear my breaths and stuff, and you kind of hear what I'm talking about, what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to make it noisy and whatnot, but just kind of, it's kind of what it is. A little more tactical reset. Alright. And so because I'm dog sitting these next couple of videos, so the one prior to this will be 2 sessions together most likely, and then this will be a standalone video. But kind of like when you see this one, I'll be able to kind of consistently post, but I'm going on a trip. I've scheduled myself a vacation in June, and I'm looking to go to Wisconsin and see Reed, who's a weightlifter, and my other friend who I play video games with, potentially. But I'm going to stop in Chicago and go see a White Sox game on the way there, and maybe some sights. And then when I'm in Milwaukee, I'll be able to watch the Cleveland Guardians, who I'm a fan of, which will be cool. But I'll be doing it at the Brewers Stadium, so I'll be the away fan. And they play a 3-game series when I'm there. I might go to all 3 games. I might just go to 1, might go to 2. But they have 2, they're like 6:40 time. And then, whatchamacallit, they have a day game. The time zone's 1 hour different there, 1 hour earlier. So I guess it won't really matter when I'm there. Especially I'm on summer break anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And it's only an hour, so it's not like I'm on the West Coast. But with that, after I go to those couple games or whatever and see other stuff in Wisconsin, then on the way back, I'll stop. It'll probably be on Sunday. Go to a Cubs game at Wrigley Field, which will be it's a Sunday game, so it'll be at like 2 o'clock. But go to one of those and get to see Wrigley Field. Kind of take advantage of my summer vacation. I just finished my last 2 classes, or I guess I have to do 2 more, but I finished the 2 teacher classes I'm in to advance my licensure. So I have to do 2 more during the summer, so I'll sign up for those pretty soon, but they're pretty easy to do, and once I have those, then I'll move up horizontally on the teacher salary schedule, so I'll make more money. I'll do the same thing next year and take another horizontal step and be up to a good chunk of change, but those classes aren't really too difficult, and just knock them out and get them all done, and move on. And then after that point, it's really just continuing to make sure I get my license renewed, but that isn't really too difficult to do. But yeah, so that Wisconsin trip should be fun. So I'll be training at a gym in Chicago, and then a gym in Milwaukee / where my other friend lives. I forget the exact city, but kind of that Wisconsin area up there somewhere, depending on where exactly. I haven't looked specifically where they exactly live and figured that out, but we'll figure it out when we need to. I just have to kind of schedule the days and what I want to do when I'm in Chicago, because I'll probably stay the night. The first night I'm in Chicago, and then train in the morning, go to that White Sox game, and then potentially spend that night, because I don't really want to drive again after a game. So, and I have the luxurious money to stay at a hotel, so I won't really be strapped for cash, and I just have to plan that all out, make sure it's not too exorbitantly expensive for all of that. But I also have a mustache. I guess you probably recognize that by now. Decided to do that for at least, I don't know, as long as I want in the summer, but actually turned out pretty well. Hard to really shave because I get irritation so much, so I just have it buzzed right now. But as far as video, you can't really see any of that stubble that's there. But enough of that yapping. We'll do 140, make it routine, and then we'll move on with our lives. But I'm really happy with how my knee's feeling on these. Usually they're more irritated on clean jerks than snatches. If I do have that kind of tendonitis. It's actually getting better, and I haven't really stopped training. I think not having as crazy heavy weeks and squats this week have probably helped. But don't want to depend on the anti-inflammatories just to do, a normal training. So it's one of those things that, like, if I was doing a competition tomorrow, I probably wouldn't even be lifting today, but like I'd be loading up on all that for that day. But it's not worth it. And week 1 of a 13-week program, you want to feel it out, and if something's really off, that's when you want to deal with it at the beginning, and when you're far out from whatever you want to do, and work around it then. Because really, it's like, if I don't lift heavy tomorrow, maybe I do this same session tomorrow, get the 110, 140, like, it's not really going to matter 12 weeks from that point. It's all the work that you're doing, building that volume. That's kind of what I'm trying to accrue now. So first 5 weeks is more reps and stuff, and just trying to get back into doing squat reps and just reps in general for all the exercises. So I think I'm yapping so I don't have to do this, but I'm actually excited about it, because I should be able to do it pretty well. So as long as we do a good clean and lock in on the jerk. All right. A little heavy in the front rack. Had that like little wooziness, but jerk felt pretty good. Now the knee kind of hurts a little bit. To be expected, but it's all we're gonna do. So I'm gonna yap a bit while I get all these weights off, but see the platform's already kind of drying off. The other side's not as much. So tomorrow might be the same kind of session as today. Hopefully I can do a little bit more, but I'm not gonna break myself to do more. Like 140 feels like that tomorrow, like that's where we'll stop. It's mostly on the tolerance of how the knee's feeling. because then I'll be at the gym, so I'll be able to do accessory work, do some extra stuff, and make it a productive session. But I will certainly take a day like this every single time I have a Friday session. I was able to hold in the split, and the hold in the split wasn't me trying to like fight and stabilize it, a little bit to be honest, but I wasn't, you know, about to drop it. I was pretty stable with it, which is always good. Felt a little heavy after the clean, but also didn't wear a belt, so I mean, that for me helps a lot with the overhead stuff. I feel like the belt helps a lot with jerks and push presses and stuff, and you know, makes sense. But wraps, obviously, knee wraps help the most. You see, like now, I don't have any lingering pain with the knee, so it's just like right after that trauma. So just have to be smart with it, not push it too hard. And you know, if I have one lift that's kind of painful like that, if that's the heavy one, then we got our work done. But if it felt like that after 120, then I probably would have stopped. But I really didn't have any discomfort. At 0 out of 10 was 70, and probably like a 1 out of 10 on 120. I think it was really minimal. And then that, I mean, I've had a 10 out of 10 before. When I was in college, I had a knee scope. I had frayed cartilage, which I probably do again, but I had frayed cartilage in my knee. And what would happen, and why I needed to get it fixed, was that it would go from being 0 out of 10, I'm running, sprinting, pitching, doing all that stuff fine, and then it would be like a sharp shooting pain, like a knife stabbed in my knee. All of a sudden, I like black out, 10 out of 10 pain, and then immediately gone. And it would be random, which is by far the worst. I mean, obviously if you have that level of pain all the time, that would be the worst, but like just not knowing, you know, wanting to train and do stuff normally, and then just like waiting for that explosion to happen. And it progressively got more frequent, and what that was, from my understanding, was just cartilage in the knee catching and, you know, just making my knee not function. I didn't have any ligament issues or anything like that when they looked in it, and it all got better after they went and scoped it out. And so that one was, it wasn't a long recovery at all. It was basically like as soon as I got out, they're like, just do whatever you can tolerate. And yeah, they just went and cleaned out the cartilage, and it was good to go. So I'm hoping I don't have to do something like that again, even though it wouldn't take that long to recover. I don't want to have any sort of procedure. Obviously, it's probably ideal for most people. But yeah, didn't rip anything open on my hands. Also found that if I'm trying to shave my calluses down on my palm and kind of where you hold the hook grip, those are hard for me. I have like a big, like a, I don't know, emery board, maybe that's what it's called, but like a big thing to, you know, cut down the calluses. And it works well on most of my hand, but like the curves, it doesn't. I actually use a straight razor to shave it down a little bit, and that helped a lot. So that gets those big lumps off, which I mostly get on my left hand, mostly with my ring finger. That pad always has an issue, and then sometimes with my thumb, but that's mostly because I try to do like 10 snatches on one day and kept missing like 120 snatches. So it just kind of worked a hole in my thumb. If I don't do stupid stuff like that, then I usually don't have too many callus issues, especially if I'm kind of going back and forth with straps and not. It helps save my hands, especially in the left one. The right one never has any issues, so it's probably some sort of neurological difference between the two, which is how I hold the bar or how hard I squeeze it or something, which could be related to grip strength. Even though my left shoulder is like the worst of the two, your non-dominant hand is usually stronger grip-wise than your dominant hand. And I guess it was some sort of evolutionary adaptation to where your dominant hand is good at fine motor skills and your non-dominant hand's worse at them, but it has that strength in it. And I've noticed with myself, if I'm training grip, that my left hand is stronger than my right. And I didn't really know that it was a difference because basically when I started training grip, I was in 5th grade, is after I broke my arm. And so when you break an arm, like, of course, that hand, which was my right arm that I broke, or my radius there, but like my right arm, of course it's going to be weaker. So like I never thought like, oh well, and I had nerve damage in my fingers after, so like it was weak for a while, weaker than my left side for a while, but I didn't realize that was just genetically what is likely for most people to have occur with their non-dominant and dominant hands. And now that I'm kind of obviously well past it, I was in 5th grade, just doing like grip strength work, I do notice that like my left hand is much stronger. Not really much, but like if I'm going to do 10 reps, like I know I can do 10 with my left, and then I'm going to try to get that same amount with my right hand. But basically, the way to work around that for anyone, whether it's your hand or any muscle group, is you just do your weaker hand first. So if I got 10 reps with my right hand, I'm for sure going to be able to get that with my left. And if I only got 9, then I'm only going to do 9 with the left. You're not trying to overbuild that. So obviously that creates imbalances and stuff. But yeah, I think that's kind of been the last thing I've been trying to do to help with the final recovery of thumb, and really just protect the elbow and all of that stuff is just grip work, and the grippers, squeezing them closed, and then the band extenders as well. Those have been pretty helpful as well. I haven't done a lot this week in particular, but I've been doing it consistently really throughout this 8-week block. I think I got maybe even before, but I've just been hammering them because I'm kind of at the point now, I got to the point with my thumb, it's like it's not going to get any more recovered because like I don't have any discomfort or anything. It's like I just need to get the area stronger, and having stronger hands and wrist and that forearm muscle connected to the elbow and all of that. It's like that's just going to be generally good to have for stability purposes. And I don't have a naturally strong grip anyway, so it's not as if I'm going to be over gripping the bar. Like I'm probably never going to be at that point. But with that being said, this will be one of those longer videos. I'll probably do more of these. Maybe this will be a Friday video, or a video I record on Fridays, and then I'll probably post on Saturdays. This one will probably be on Monday, depending on how quick I edit it. But I don't have anything else to do now, because I'm unemployed, at least until about middle of August. So with that being said, that's it for now. So deuces. We'll have a good one.